I mean, yeah, great to be in touch and great to be connected here. I We spoke at the very start of Peanut, like 2 years ago, I think very briefly. Exactly. They had Longhash X, the accelerator, and we were part of that. And then we were raising the pre-seed. Um, and I think we had a brief conversation back then. Yeah. Stuff has changed a lot ever since. So yeah. Sorry, could you repeat? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And one of the great things is that, well, our thesis that stablecoins would eat the world, which we had, 2.5 years ago, is coming to fruition. That's a really cool thing. And we've also moved. So since then, we started off as a protocol and like as a stablecoin protocol, essentially abstracting away a lot of the complexity that you have when you do a blockchain payment. And we've pivoted to a consumer app last year. We thought that most of the value would accrue on the app layer and not necessarily on the middleware layer. So yeah, that's like one of the big updates. And the other big update is that we went absolutely viral and essentially hit PMF. Um, and yeah, and now we're raising a seed round. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you around. Do you have your phone on you? Cool. Happy to. So that's Peanut. And it's a simple payments app that abstracts away not only all of the complexities that you have in a blockchain payment, so specifically the chain you're on, the token type, gas, account creation. This is biometrics based on your phone, and any of these things. But also it abstracts away moving from fiat to crypto by using local on and off ramps. So let me show you. I'll just send you one back so you can see what it looks like. So you can scan the QR code and that gets you the $1 and gets you onboarded to the app as well. I hope that makes me a micro LP and Funbushi. Correct. And Pix and a few others. Yeah. Exactly. So it gets routed through our protocol to desired destination. And that can be a Peanut wallet you can now sign up and then it takes you through a very simple sign up flow. One of the cool things about Peanut is that you don't need to KYC by default and so on. So it takes like 10 seconds. Cool. So 300 milliseconds to send money from Berlin to Shanghai. That's the new way to settle. Obviously, that's something we inherit from stables. But our secret sauce is bringing legacy rails and making them seamlessly interoperable with the fiat rails so that you can move up to stables. Really good question. It's an account abstraction wallet that lives on Arbitrum, and all the funds always get routed through Arbitrum USDC. So even if you deposit like Solana USDT or Tron or whatever, they get bridged and swapped directly into Arbitrum USDC. And then when you send them out, you can also bridge and swap out. And that creates this UX where you only have one balance, which is like fintech, like Venmo style or Alipay style UX, where you don't get 15 different dollar types. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you. Yeah, so if I want to deposit or add funds or withdraw, I can very simply do that. Here I already have connected a few bank accounts. I'll just pick my German one. And if I withdraw $5 now, before this call ends, this will arrive in my German bank account, probably within 10 minutes or so. We do the FX automatically, and then connect you directly to SEPA rails. Correct. Yeah. And that's a huge advantage, we believe. Like, an important part of our thesis is that the way to win against a lot of the TradFi players is to be in every jurisdiction by default, right? So our default is we are in Antarctica. Like, there are no on and off ramps in Antarctica, but we are in Antarctica. You can use it in Antarctica permissionlessly. And we don't need to do heavy compliance because it's fully self-custodial. So you're regulated the same way as MetaMask or Phantom is. You can deposit or withdraw in any type of fiat or crypto, but the balance is always in US dollars, and under the hood, it's USDC. Yeah. No, correct. And the idea here is to compete with TradFi payments rather than to fight for market share within the crypto ecosystem. Correct. Correct. Exactly. Correct. Correct. And we are already cheaper than, for example, Revolut, which is huge in Europe. It depends. Yeah. It depends on the corridor, but essentially from just 10% cheaper all the way to 70% cheaper. So if you look at, for example, they recently launched Brazil. If you do Portugal to Brazil, which is very common, it's half as cheap. Like it's half the price, literally, to transfer money. Yeah, great question. So they're taking, so for example, for Portugal, they're taking about 1.3%. And for us, it costs about 60 bips, so 0.6, yeah. Yeah. Yes, well, it's the Forex, right? So it's the transaction is free, but it's on the Forex swap. So from euros to reales. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we swap from euros to USDC and then from USDC to reales, which is the Brazilian currency. We make money on the Forex, or rather we can. Right now we just pass through fees, but we can make money on the Forex. That's the classical way to make money on this kind of business. But I think the real big cash cow and the way this is potentially a decacorn outcome is onboarding merchants and closing the loop with merchants. So building a large peer-to-peer network first and then charging merchants. And for us, merchants are really, really juicy because if we settle, within Peanut, then for us it's pure margin, right? And right now, the way merchant payment acceptance works is that there are so many middlemen. Like when you swipe your card, there's, like 12 intermediaries in several banking hubs. But if we just close the loop from Peanut to Peanut, then it's pure margin for us. So if a merchant gets charged, let's say 4% somewhere, they actually Visa only gets 10 bips and the POS system only gets 8 bips and so on. Exactly. We have this. Yeah. Yeah, so absolutely great question. Hang on, let me reshare again. We thought about this because you can't scale a double-sided market easily, right? Like it's very hard. So we start off of being interoperable with the merchant networks to begin with. So for example, here we already support Mercado Pago, which is Argentina's biggest merchant payment network, and Pix, which is Brazil's biggest network. So we already support those. Yeah. So Pix is like almost 100% because it's government mandated. So it's like 98% or something, and Mercado Pago is about 80%. And it's the dominant way to pay. Cards are not the dominant way to pay. Cards come secondary. And yeah, not anymore. It's slowly changing now. It's slowly changing, but yes, I mean, cash is cash. I don't know whether you've seen pictures of them having these huge bills. Yeah. So that's changing and that's getting digitalized largely because of Mercado Pago, the system I've just shown. And so we are initially interoperable with these systems. So you can just scan that QR code and we will add more. We will add like in Vietnam and M-Pesa in Africa and so on. But so you scan initially. In the first phase of the company, you just scan and then the money goes directly to the merchant. It gets off-ramped and goes normally to the merchant. So for the merchants, it's completely seamless. And then once we have a bit of penetration, we go to the merchant and say, hey, in this area, you've got, let's say, 10% penetration, which means 10% of your gross merchandise volume could come through Peanut directly. We'll charge you half of whatever these guys are charging. And for us, that's pure margin, right? On top of the effects and so on that we're charging. But yeah, that's the play. Yeah, great question. We're 6 people. We're 6 people, mostly on a product team. So we've recently went viral, and now we need to actually start hiring marketing and continue the growth. And so one of the reasons we are raising the seed round now very urgently is because we need to start expanding on the marketing side, and yeah, generally, yeah. Um, Sorry, could you repeat the question? Oh, it was me. It was me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the founder of Mercado Libre, which owns Mercado Pago. It's like the Amazon of LATAM, essentially. Um, and he recommended I reach out to one of the on and off ramping partners that they have. And yeah, we've been a design partner with them, and then we launched it a few months ago. We launched it in October. Yeah. It took about 3-4 months of building. Yeah. We went from, I'll tell you from what we went to where we are. So we went from 10K to 1.3 million in a matter of 5 weeks. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's 100x in 5 weeks, essentially. So right now we are not charging revenue. It's a bit too early in the product. We haven't had, we just launched it, and we haven't even had the time to develop a fee structure inside of the product. But the intention is to charge on Forex. And that would be, it really depends on the corridor, but on average, it would be about 75 pips on the Forex swaps. That's a great question. In that case, we don't make money. That's okay. But most of the things happen with swaps, right? So most deposits happen in pesos or reales or euros, and they get transferred into dollars. And then when people spend, they spend dollars, but the merchant gets pesos. So there is a forex swap involved. That's like 80% of the transactions, yeah, of the meaning of the deposit or withdrawal transactions, the ones that leave the network. The ones inside of the network are dollar to dollar, and these we intend to keep free. We will not make money on those, and that's intentional because we want people to transact friend to friend as well. From today, no, but once we enable merchants, yes, because the big cash cow, I think, for this business is the merchants, right? Like the Forex stuff, that's cool, but I don't think that's maybe a unicorn outcome, but like a really, really, really huge outcome is if you're able to close the entire loop. And then you have a network effect, and that's also a moat. And merchants are much more willing to pay for access to your user base. Yeah, great question. So the way we think about it is, we are global from day zero, but we do focus on specific on and off ramping regions where we make it more efficient and easier. There we recently launched in Argentina and in Brazil. That's where we also went viral. Also went slightly viral in Europe, but not as much. And in those, so expanding in LATAM and doubling down, especially in Brazil. We did a mini launch with like 100 people in Brazil, and retention has been absolutely amazing. Like they absolutely love the product, and they've been using it. For most people who kept using us, they've been using us several times per week, which is incredible to see for Yeah, for a very new fintech app, you know, that's still sometimes a bit broken. Sorry? Also to merchants. No, sorry. To be very precise here, it's Peanut lets you pay merchants that use Pix. And Pix is the big, like the equivalent of like, I don't know, Grab Pay or Alipay, with, yeah, exactly. That's phase one. And phase two will be onboarding these merchants, and then it's Peanut to Peanut instead of Peanut to Pix. Correct. The advantage is that A, you get to hold dollars instead of anything else. So you're completely protected from inflation. That's one thing. The second, the second advantage is that many of these people receive dollars or have dollars in some way or form anyway, either because they work for an international company or they're freelance workers or they receive remittances. So they prefer to receive whatever they're about to receive and not swap it into the local currency, but keep it in dollars. And yeah, these are the two primary advantages. Yeah, and then the third one being that like once you have dollars, you can go like you can settle anywhere you want, right? Like you don't need to swap out if you ever need to send them out, but that's minor. The first two are the biggest one. Yeah. It really varies on per geo. So in Europe, it's really large. It's about 2K, 1.7K. In LATAM, it's much smaller. It's about $200, but the frequency of usage is much greater in LATAM. Like people just use it almost every day, and they top up once a week. Yeah, they top it up much more frequently. They have much lower float as people. You know, they don't have savings. Exactly. And that's a big reason because that's why they can use it every day because they can spend. So one of the things we are planning for this year is adding just a card for Europeans and US Americans so they can also start spending, and then, you know, start using the app every day and not, you know, once a month or twice a month. Yeah, exactly.